Happy New Year, everyone! Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to our first gameplay of 2024. In this video, we're going back to one of the roll and writes that we played during Advent of the Phoenix last month, as we revisit Roll for Great Old Ones from Hodari Spiele. This is a roll and write that sets you in the Cthulhu mythos, going through an adventure against trying to stop usually some kind of ancient one from waking up. The reason we're coming back to this one is apparently I missed a rule that made winning very difficult, if not out and out impossible for me in my last playthrough. When you roll for your investigator actions, you're actually supposed to use the die you take twice instead of once. So hopefully with twice the actions it'll make winning a little bit easier. It'll probably still be a fairly difficult game, but that ramble aside, let's meet our investigator. We're coming back to the same investigator we played in that first playthrough. We're coming back to Mandy Bell. Let's take a look at her story. Mandy Bell was a woman of the law, a brave policewoman who always upheld justice and protected the innocent. Her whole world was shattered when she discovered that her own husband, the man she loved and trusted, was a cultist priest devoted to the worship of the monstrous deity Hastur. She was torn between her duty to her profession and her love for her husband. Her investigations led her to uncover a web of secrets, corruption, and eldritch rituals that stretched beyond her wildest nightmares. The revelation of her husband's true nature shattered her heart and left her questioning everything she knew about him. But Mandy Bell was a woman of steel, and she refused to let her husband's actions go unpunished. She delved deeper into the cult's practices, gathering evidence of their heinous crimes and building a case against them. Her determination and courage inspired those around her to join the fight. Sadly, no officials ever believed her, leaving her no choice but to take action herself. Mandy Bell's heart was forever scarred by the betrayal of her husband, but her resolve never wavered. She continued to serve and protect, her unwavering sense of justice guiding her through the darkness and the unknown. Her story serves as a warning to all that even those closest to us can be corrupted. Her strong mind will never be corrupted, though. Her special ability on the other side. Actually, all of these will look the same. Her special ability, when Mandy gains a weakness, she can instead lose 2 health once to not gain a weakness. So that's her special ability. That's a quick look at we'll actually go through each of the actions on the sheet. So we've got our first action down here, which is Recover Your Soul. Your spirit is battered. Recover and release the stress. When you've got one of those groups groups of 4 filled completely, you'll be able to take the action. We've got 4, 4, 3, 5, 2, and 4. Special symbols on here as well, but we'll go through the abilities first before we explain the symbols. Losing instantly a weakness. The way you fill this up is you take the numbers and make sure for Recover Your Soul, you want them to be sequentially in descending order. So you want to go from 6 to 5 to 4, yada, yada, yada. Basically, think reverse welcome to in that way. Rest your body. The fight is long and exhausting. Give your body some rest and recharge your batteries. You fill that with ascending numbers, so 1, 2, 3, and so on, which gives you instantly 2 health. The investigators will always start with 4. If you ever lose all of your health, you lose the game. Healing Hands. Teamwork in the face of evil is the key to victory. As an action, any one investigator gains a health, you gain 2 experience, which you'll fill in those here to unlock some of those special symbols. The numbers there all need to be odd. Attacking the cultists. Fight the vile cultists to slow down the progress of the ritual. And you'll roll a die once you fill that up. 1 and 2, you won't defeat any cultists. 3 and 4, you'll defeat 1. 5 and 6, you'll defeat 2. You fill that by putting in 5 numbers that are not the same. So it'll be 1, then 2. Basically, you can't repeat any numbers in that one. Executing a special action. So executing whatever episode action we have at our disposal. Those pairs have to be equal before we can execute those. Then search for clues. Needs to be all even numbers. We'll roll a die for that. On a 1, we'll lose a health. 2 through 5, we'll discover a clue. And on a 6, we'll discover 2. And we need to discover 8 clues to win the... We'll need to discover 8 clues on the difficulty that we're playing on to win this adventure. Just making sure there's a space for... Actually, it's probably on the sheet here. So, yes. We'll roll from... We'll deal with that. Wait. 8 clues. And then what's the clue? Oh, is there somewhere... There must be somewhere that we close the dark seal. Oh. Close the dark seal before the ritual is completed. You found all necessary clues. Gain a scenario bonus. So it looks like we have to discover those. We need to discover those. One, when the investigators have closed all active dark seals found on respective investigator board. So we might need to... Wait. Okay, this isn't making complete sense. So we need to discover those clues. So we need to finish that 4 times? That doesn't make sense. Instantly close. It looks like we might need to complete that. No, that wouldn't make sense. I'll instantly close the seal and choose a scenario bonus. Oh, we might only have to I think we have to complete it once per player. That would make sense. But let me look. I'm just looking here real quick. I want to see if that makes sense. Any of the 4... If each participating investigator has closed their dark seal. Okay, so we only have to close 1 dark seal to win the game. That makes sense. Now that we've got that figured out, let's move into going through our adventure for today. Once again, we're going through Scenario 1, the Eternal Ritual. Sinister cultists are trying to awaken an ancient mystical god through a disgusting ritual. To do this, they use the black magic of the Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon. The appearance of this great old one signals doom for the world as we know and love. The investigators should be aware of their own fears and safeties. Based on the D12 that we've got in the dice pool, so let me talk about the dice pool. As we're setting up the scenario, we have a D12, which will always be the cultist's die. Then we have a D6 plus 1 per active investigator. Since we only have 1 investigator in the scenario, we only have 1 extra D6. So as far as the actions we've got cultists reciting from the Necronomicon on a 2 or 5 on the D12. When they activate that, we'll roll a die and add crosses equal to the value of the die. So we'll cross off one of these. Now is probably a good time to talk about some of the symbology on both of these sheets. So if we get a number, if we cross off a number on the die, on a die, that will move up to the actions of the cultists, and next round they'll activate that. That means we'll gain a weakness instantly, that eyeball with a nova around it. That, I believe, means we advance the ritual. Let me double check that one. I believe that's what that translates to. Oh, we advance it by the current ritual level is what that is. Okay. Now that we've got that figured out, that one is make an insanity check, I think. Yes, make an insanity check. I'll explain how that works when we get into it a little bit later. Then this gives you an insanity. That summons a monster, I believe. Yes, summon a scenario monster for each active investigator. Lose a health. And that's it there. On a 3 or 9, we'll be summoning cultists. Cultists are the troublemakers who want to perform the ritual at any cost. The more that participate in the ritual, the faster the Great Old One will be awakened. Add crosses in the amount of the cultists who are appearing. Roll a die. 1 or 2 will summon 2. 3 or 4 will summon 3. 5 or 6 will summon 4. Ritual on a 1 to 12. Cultists are getting closer to their perverted goal of unleashing terror on the world. Roll a die and add up the ritual steps as follows, and add them as crosses as the ritual progresses. 1 to 2 will advance the ritual by 1, 3 to 4 by 2, 5 to 6 by 3, and for every 2 will advance an additional 1. So we definitely want to keep the cultists under control. For a 6, the soul suffers. Our mind begins to break. We'll roll a die to determine who gets a weakness, which will always be us because we're only playing with one investigator. On 11, vile Migos are summoned. Cultists summon a terrifying creature with wings. Add crosses in the amount of summoned creatures. So we'll roll a die to determine how many are summoned. But we have to note if a Migo is not defeated in an attack, the attacker loses a health. On a 1 to 3, we'll summon 1 Migo. 4 to 5, we'll summon 2, and a 6 will summon 3. 4 and a 10, the Migo are attacking. The vile creatures have tracked you down and are preparing to attack. Face the battle. The investigator with the highest dice result is attack, so everybody rolls for that. But we'll only have the one investigator. If 3 or more Migo are active, a second attack is triggered. The consequences of the attack are rolled again. On a 1, we'll lose 2 health and gain an insanity. On a 2, we'll lose a health, gain a weakness, and summon a cultist. 3, we'll lose a health and gain 2 insanity. 4, we'll lose a health, gain an insanity, and summon another Migo. On a 5, we'll gain 2 insanity and summon 2 cultists. And a 6, we'll summon 2 cultists and another Migo. And then I see the episode action there, which I need to transfer over to Mandy's sheet. Wound 2 Migo, each with 1 health. And I do not like these markers at all. I may see if I can find some fine-tip dry erase markers, but that's not really related here. On a 7, Migo are healed. Roll a die to heal a displayed number of Migo and remove all damage. 1 to 3 heals 1, 4 to 6 heals 2. 8 is illusion of insanity. The battle is not only physical, but primarily fought in your mind. Pass this insanity test. Roll a die and compare the result to your current insanity level. If your die is less than your maximum insanity level, you pass and only gain an insanity. But if you fail, you lose 2 health. So we do need to be very careful of that. We've got our various closed seals, but we'll only need to seal 1 to win the game. Ritual progress is based on the number of investigators. We'll advance that every turn by the ritual level. So let's move over to the main game area at this point and start finalizing setup. I'll explain a little bit more of the symbology on the investigator sheet. We've got these plus symbols, which are basically free numbers. So we'll be able to use those to fill in any number that we actually. I don't think those are the free numbers now that I think about. Oh yes, they are the free numbers. Never mind. So basically we can take any number we want and fill them in anywhere on the sheet. That lets us search for clues. That gives us an experience point, which will be a cross off on there. I think that's all the symbology on. Oh, no. There's actually a mind icon up there, which will give us a skill. We also have options for re-rolls, where we can roll any investigator die again, but of course there are additional costs for that. Let me double check what the additional cost is on re-rolling. Where is it? Here we go. Any number of times before. Every second reroll results in a penalty, so yes, we will have to be careful of that. But I think we're all set to get into this scenario, so let's jump in and see if we can stop the Ancient Ones from waking up this time. We'll start off by advancing the ritual by 1. since that's the first thing we do in the round. Then we'll roll the dice to create our dice pool. Let's see, we've got a 3 on the D12, so that'll be the cultist's die. Now do I want the 2 or the 1? What does a 3 do? Summon cultists, which they have to re-roll. I think I'm going to take the 1, and I'll give the cultists the 2. So a 1 now goes in 2 different places. I think we'll start it with the... I think we'll start stockpiling a few special actions. I'll place the second 1 before I deal with the free number. Let's put the 1 also up here on Rest Your Body, so I can start stockpiling health. And then the free number that I've got there, I'm going to take a 2 and put it down on Search for Clues, which will give me another free number. I'm going to put a 1. I'm going to put a 1 on Healing Hands. And then for the cultists, a 3 means they're summoning more cultists. So we're going to roll and see how many they have summoned. They have 1 already. A 4 says they're summoning 3 more. So we're definitely going to want to try to start getting those cultists under control a little bit more. So now we're into a new round. Nice and quick. Let's see what we do here. All right, the cultists are getting an 11, which means they're going to be summoning Migo. Do I want the 4 or the 6? I think I want the 6. I'll give them the 4. Let's see, the 6 I'm going to put down. I'm going to put a 6 down on Search for Clues. And a second one, I'm going to go with a 6 on Recover Your Soul, which will give me an experience. So I'll cross that off. Now they're summoning... the cultists are summoning Migo, so let's see how many they're summoning. A 1 says they're summoning 1. Which means we're just about ready. A 1 here could let us attack both of those Migo and start working them down. But let's see what happens in our next roll. Oh, I forgot to advance the ritual for the round. Okay, so we activated cultist dice, we did all that. We're advancing the ritual by 1 for the start of the new round, which puts a 2 up at the actions of the cultist, so they'll be activating that this round. Unfortunately, I've got no way to attack the cultists right now, so I do need to keep an eye on that, but let's see what happens with this roll. Right, an 8's going to... That was an 8, but I knocked it to a 7 as I was moving it. So an 8's going to be an insanity test right off the bat. I think we're going to take a 5. Yeah, we're going to take the 5 and give the 3 to the cultist. Now, where do I want the 5 to go? I think we're going to put 2 5s down. So I'm going to put a 5 down at Attack the Cultist because I want to start working on that. And I'm going to put a 5 down on Healing Hands, which will also give me an experience point and give me a free number. I'm going to take a 1 here, put it on Execute a Special Action so I can wound the 2 Migo that we've got summoned for 1 each. Oop. Okay, and then the cultists are... Then the cultists have 2 actions. I'm trying to remember what order they activate in. Do they activate the actions of the cultists first? No, I think... Okay, it looks like they do... It looks like they activate their dice first. So we do have to make an insanity test. Since we haven't taken any insanity yet, our result is a... As long as we don't roll a 1, I think we're fine there. Yes. As long as we don't roll a 1, we're fine. So, of course, we roll a 1. Delightful. Which means we lose 2 health. Which is not great. And a 2, cultists are reciting from the Necronomicon. So they're adding crosses to the value of the dice. That's a 6. Great. So... that was an 11 and an 8. I believe when you add via cultists, via the actions of the cultists, no, I think we'll activate those on the next turn. So 11 and an 8 are going up on the actions of the cultists. That's not good. But alas, there's nothing we can do about that now at this point. So, now we're into a new round. We're advancing the ritual by 1 again. And let's see what happens on our next die roll to create our pool. Alright, so the cultists are getting, what is that? That's a 7. Which is going to be healing the Migo. Great. So I could use a free number here to just wipe out both of those Migo. That might be worth it, actually. So I'm going to take a 2 and give them the 5. And I think that is the plan I'm going to go with. So I'm going to take a 2 on the special action, which will give me a free number. I'll use that as a 2 to take out both of these Migo. And then I get to place a second 2, which I'll work on attack the cultist with that. Then I get another free number, which I'll turn into a 4 on search for clues, which will give me another experience. And then the Migo can get healed for all I care right now because we've wiped both of them out. But we do have 2 other actions of the cultists to deal with. We have an 11, which is summoning more Migo. So I'll be rolling for that. So they're summoning one Migo, which is going to cost me a health. AKA, I need to heal pronto. And then 8 is another insanity test. Come on, not a 1. Come on, not a 1. That's a 6, so we're fine, which means we'll lose an insanity. In this case, it's kind of good because we actually get a skill now. What do we want to do with that? I could instantly gain... I feel like I kind of want to gain health. So I think I'm going to gain instantly 2 health. That way I'm not just in danger on the next... That way I'm not just in danger on the next failed insanity test. Alright, so we've done all of the... We just did the insanity test, so we're clear there. Check victory or defeat or cleanup, but we're into a new round. The ritual will advance by 1. I'll actually remember to do that. Then we'll roll all the dice and see what happens. The cultists are getting another 7. which is giving them another insanity. It's just giving them another, which is healing the Migo again. That I don't mind, since the only one out right now is at full health. I'm going to give them the 1 because I want the 4. Mostly I want the 4 so I can search for clues this round. So I'm going to take the 4 there, and I'll put a 4 on attacking the cultists. Then since we put a die on the 4, we get to search for clues. So I want to see it. I want to see a 2 to 5. I want to see a 2 and up, because that'll at least let me discover clues. Good thing we gained health, because if we had rolled that earlier, we would have just ended the scenario on the spot. We would be dead right now. So we do lose a health, unfortunately, but no help for that. Migo are being healed. I can roll the die for that, but it's not going to matter. Hey, look, they're healing back to full health. So actually, heal the displayed number of Migo and remove all damage. So these two have been defeated already. We don't have to worry about that. We performed the cultist actions, so we're all clear there. Now we're advancing the ritual for a new round. A 4 is going up to the actions of the cultists, so they'll be getting to activate that next round. And now we're rolling our cultist dice, or rolling the dice. Okay, a 6 is going up to the cultists, which means the soul is going to be suffering for us. I don't think we get to re-roll that. No, taking a madness right now probably isn't that bad. That's probably fine. What do we want here? We could take an even number. Actually, you know what? If I take this 6, I can put an experience on... I can put it on attack the cultists to gain an experience and start chaining a bunch of free numbers together, which I think I will do that. So I'm going to gain a 6. I'll give them the 2. So giving me the 6 means I'm going to put a 6 down here on an experience point, which will give me a free number. That will give me a... I'll put that as a 3 over on healing hands. Actually, I'll put... Let's deal with the 6. Let's finish the 6s before we start going into free numbers. I'll put a 6 down on search for clues, which will give me a second free number. So the first free number from gaining the experience is going to go as a 3 up on healing hands, which means I gain a health and 2 experience, which will give me another free number. But I've got another free number from placing a 6 on search for clues. I'll take a 2 on rest your body, which will give me another experience. And then another free number will make this a 1. So it's both my free numbers, and I get to attack the cultists. So let's see what I'm able to do with defeating some of these cultists, trying to slow it down. Trying to slow the ritual down. A 2 when I'm trying to defeat cultists says I don't get to defeat anything. That's unfortunate. But that's everything for me there. The soul is suffering from the cultists, so I have to, well, I'm not going to bother rolling because I'm the only investigator, so I'll just roll for what weakness I gain. A 3 is lose 1 health after each reroll I activate. I haven't been using my rerolls, which I probably should be more, but I think it's fine to take that weakness. And then the cultists have a 4 that they're activating as well. Our 1 Migo is attacking, so it's going to roll a die for the attack. A 6 means we summon 2 more cultists, as if we needed more problems there. And we're summoning another Migo, which is not great at all for us. So we'll clean up there, erase that action of the cultist since we've done it, and now we're into a new round, so we're advancing the ritual again and rolling the dice. Let's see what happens here. Let's see, a 2 is going up to the... Oop. That was a 2, but it moved all over the place on me. Then we've got a 6 and a 2 on the D6s. Let's go... Let's take a 6. The cultist will have to re-roll for this anyway. So 6. I'm going to put a 6 on a special action to give me a free number. Then I'll put the other 6 on search for clues. And the free number from placing a 6 on a free number space will make that a... We'll put a 3 on rest your body. Then for the cultists die there reciting from the Necronomicon. So we add equal to the roll. Another 6. That's a problem. 4, 5, 6. Which also means we're immediately gaining a weakness. So let's see what weakness we take next. Two is gain 1 insanity for each special action you perform. Yeah, we're probably getting... Do I want to lose 2 health and not take that weakness? Because our Migo... I think I'm going to lose 2 health so I don't take that weakness. That weakness seems like it's going to get out of control in a hurry. And I don't really want that to happen right now. So, we go through cleanup. All of this is done. Our dice come back. We'll start off by advancing the ritual. Then we'll see what we roll. Alright, a 12 is going to the cultists. That, oh boy. They're going to be advancing the ritual by at least 3, it looks like. Do I want the 6 or do I want the 1? I think I want the 6 so I can start dealing, so I can deal with these, so I can work on these Migo a little bit more. I'll put one of the 6s on execute a special action, which will give me an insanity, but it'll let me wound 2 of these Migo for 1, both the other Migo for 1. The other 6 I'll stick on search for clues, which will give me an experience and a free number. I'll make that a... I'll put a 5 on recover your soul as my free number. So I wounded the Migo. Okay, so I put the 2 6s on execute a special action and search for clues. Then I took the 5 as recover your soul. Definitely looking to release some stress there. As for the 12 on the cultists, they are summoning, they're advancing the ritual further. They're advancing it by 2 plus 3 for every 2 cultists, so that's 5. They'll have a 3 on the actions of the cultists coming up in a second. 2, 3, 4. I'll lose another insanity, which will give me another weakness. And 5. Alright, so I'm going to roll for my next weakness. If I roll a weakness that I already have active, I lose a health. That's a 2, gain an insanity for each special action I perform, and I can't afford to lose 2 health because I would just be dead at that point. So, yeah, I have to eat the gain 1 insanity for each special action I perform. Then they have a 3 coming as well for actions of the cultists, We'll roll for that. A 6 is summoning another 4 cultists. So they're getting a 2 for next round on actions of the cultists. So a 2 there. All right. We check for victory or cleanup, or defeat or cleanup, but we've got the 2 ready for the actions of the cultists. And before we start the next round, I need to take a small break. All right. So we start off by advancing the ritual by 1. Let's see what we've got here. All right, we've got a 10 going up to the cultist. We've got a 10 going up for the cultist. The Migo are attacking. Do I think I'm okay with that? This might be worth a reroll. Well, if I roll 2 health, I'm just dead, but I can always reroll that if I think I need to. Where would I want the 5? Actually, I could start on another round of attacking cultists, potentially. I could also heal. I could also gain more health, which I think is probably worthwhile with that 5. So I'll start off with resting my body to put a 5 on a free number, which will also gain me 2 health instantly. And I've got a free number from putting the 5 there, but first I've got to deal with putting a second 5 down, which I'll put on another stack of attacking the vile cultists. Now for the free 5, or for the free number from putting the 5 down at the end of rest your body, I'm going to use that as a 4, put it down on search for clues, and now I'm going to try to search for clues, see if I have a little better luck than I did last time. Once again, I want a 2 and up. That's a 6. That is much better luck. Which means we gain 2 clues, one of them landing on a free number. Which I'm going to put that as a... I'm going to put a 4 as on attack the cultists, which gives me another free number. I'll take that as a 4 up here, which changes into another free number. Let's make that a 3 on execute a special action, which will give me an experience point. And I think that's it for all the chaining I can do there. Now going into the cultist's turn. A 10 says the Migo are attacking, so we're going to roll their die. That's a 5, which means we suffer 2 insanity and summon 2 more cultists. So we'll summon 2 more cultists. We have a 6 going up to actions of the cultists, but we suffer 2 insanity, which will give us another skill. I think here I want... Let's take find instantly a clue, which will give me another free number since I've collected my 3rd clue. Where do I want an instant number to go? I think we'll put it on... we'll put a 3 on a special action to take both of these Migo out. But it is going to cost me an insanity for the special action I perform, which means I'm getting another weakness. Still, it's probably worth it to make sure those Migos stay under control. A 5 means I'd advance the ritual by 2 if I choose an odd investigator die. That is... The way I've been rolling odd, I think I'm going to lose 2 health to not have that weakness go off. to not gain that weakness. That seems like a pretty big problem right now. But I know I'm taking something of a gamble here with that. Oh, I haven't been paying attention to when Migo are healed. I think they healed at least once, so they probably advanced the ritual by 1. We'll just try to remember that going forward. Speaking of number 10, we rolled the Migo attack, which is how we got into that. We gained the weakness. Oh, now we've got actions of the cultists. So a 2 is summoning from the Necronomicon, is reading from the Necronomicon. We've been rolling way too high on this. That's a 3, which is enough to advance the ritual again. I believe that's by ritual level we established, right? Yes, advance the ritual by ritual level. The only reason I mention that is because we're crossing off one of those. So we're advancing by 1, which means we would be adding an 8 to the actions of the cultists, but they're full already, so nothing happening there. We are taking another weakness, and we don't have the health to be able to block this one. Let's see, that's a 3. The problem is that one's already active, so we lose a health instead. 1 more and we're just defeated. So we do need to be very careful of that. Actions of the cultists are all done. We have not lost yet somehow, but we're not very far from it at this point. We need to get some healing going on, like, now. Let's see, a 1 on the D12 is going to the cultists. And now I can't even reactivate rerolls because now I would just end up being defeated. A 6 would let me put... Actually, a 3 would let me wipe out a weakness instantly. Where would a 6 go? Potentially attacking the cultists, potentially working on clues. Yeah, I think we'll take the 3 and give them the 6. The 3 will put on Recover Your Soul, which will let us instantly lose a weakness, and I'm going to erase Gain an Insanity for each special action I perform. The second 3 will put on Executing a Special Action. I really want to make sure I keep those Migo at bay as much as I can. Alright, so now we're advancing the ritual. And we're going to be advancing probably by 6 just based on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, just based on the... Actually, I think we add the ritual steps as follows, and add them as crosses in the ritual progress. I think we're advancing the ritual by a lot. One thing I want to look up is that max 6 even with the cultist bonus, or does that not take the... Oh, if it's activated via the actions of the cultist, the current ritual level determines the strength. The action is activated, add up the ritual steps, max 6. So it looks like even when we account for the cultists, it's a max 6. So I'm not even gonna bother rolling for that because we're rolling 6 anyway. With that, 1, 2, we're putting a 3 up at the actions of the cultists. 4, 5, 6. So now we have a 3 coming out. And now we have a 3 on the actions of the cultists. Does that determine by the ritual level as well? Current ritual level determines the level. Okay. So we're currently at ritual level 2 as we blasted into that. So we're summoning 2 more cultists, which will put another 8 up on... Which will put an 8 up on actions of the cultists. I'm not sure if those are supposed to chain or not like that. So if you unlock one action of the cultist during another, do they immediately chain? I'm ruling that they don't, but that's probably wrong. I'm just going to look here real quick. It, of course, does not say. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about chaining together actions of the cultists like that, so I'm going to rule for now that they don't. So we moved an 8 up for next round. Somehow we are still in this scenario, but I don't think it's going to be too much longer. So now we're advancing by ritual level, which in this case is 2. We're putting an 11 up at actions of the cultists. And we're rolling the dice once again. What did I do with the other? Oh, it's still in there. All right, a 2 is going up to the cultists. Then do I want the 4 or the 1? I think we're going to take the... I think we're going to take the 4, mostly so I can start working on clues. Okay, I want a 4 on search for clues, which will give me a free number, but I'm going to deal with this 4 first. We'll set another 4 on execute a special action, so I have that ready to go in case I need to deal with the Migo. The experience will go up here. I'll roll for the clue after I place this free number, which I'll take as a 1 on rest your body. So now we're searching for clues from filling in the space on the experience marker. That's a 3, so we discover 1 clue, which doesn't do anything for us right now. That's rather unfortunate. As for a 2, okay, so we don't roll for that, I don't believe. Ritual level determines the effect of the scenario action. I believe that's only if it's activated via the actions of the cultists. Yes, it is. Okay. So if the D12, the D6 determines the strength of the action. So we're summoning, so we're activated, so they're adding 1 cross to summon the Necronomicon, but we've got 2 actions of the cultists to deal with. We've got an 8, which is an insanity roll, which I believe if I fail this, I'm dead, but I've got to roll above a 3. Which a 2 is not, so that means I've just been defeated and the scenario is over. So that will do it. Well, I believe we go through the entire step, but there's really no point to that, I don't think. Since we've just been defeated, I don't think there's a point to... At least that's the way I would rule that, where... At least that's the way I'd rule that, where... As soon as you're defeated, the game's just over. I don't believe you go through the rest of the round. But I'm just looking for that. Yeah, I don't see anything about that. But anyway, game's over and we have lost. So that will do it for this playthrough of Roll for Great Old Ones. I'm still planning on doing a couple of year-end retrospective videos today. We're actually not quite done yet, actually, because we've got a small product unboxing of something that came in Saturday. So I'm going to do a little bit of cleanup here, and then we'll get into that product unboxing. As you can probably guess by the box, this is our bi-monthly Dr. Squatch delivery. I got this in on Saturday, but I haven't had time to unbox it yet. But we have some time now, so let's get into this product unboxing and see what flavors are in here. First thing I need to do is find a good... Oh. No. Oh, I see how it's done. It was taking me a little bit to look around the box. Looks like we got craft tape on here. Well, it just... Okay. Let's put that down and close that before anything stupid happens. Well, looking at the inside of the box, I'll go ahead and get the void fill airbags cut out. Throw those away. And we'll see that indeed it is my bi-monthly soap delivery. So this time I went with 3 flavors of Rainforest Rapids. I may hold on to this box. Also my usual deliveries of 3 boxes of pine tar, 3 of Cool Fresh Aloe, and 3 of Fresh Falls. I decided to add Rainforest Rapids to the regular rotation just because I liked it so much, but that's it for this video on our playthrough of Roll for Great Old Ones. Like I said, there are going to be a couple of retrospective videos coming later today on the channel. I may have another gameplay as well, but I haven't completely decided on that yet. As for what's scheduled on the channel, Wednesday we're playing Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle from USAopoly. Saturday we're going to start Mystical Munchies out of the Cooking with Deadpool cookbook with the appetizer. I believe it was Look at Them. It's going to be Hush Puppies. I don't remember what the recipe's actually called though. We're also going to have the intro for the winter campaign for Arkham Horror, the card game. And then Sunday we'll have the first scenario of that campaign. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.